Hello, you're welcome once again to 40 Days of Faith. We began this. I said that on the 6th of October 1985, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. And so I decided that for 40 days, I'm going to be doing 40 Days of Faith, where I talk about experiences from my journey with Jesus Christ. Now, today, I'm going to look at how that event actually took place. I gave my life to Christ 2 days to my 14th birthday. 2 days to my 14th birthday. A little boy in a school. I was in a boarding school, Ascension Junior Seminary, Umebulungu Asa. Easy. Ascension Junior Seminary was the school. It's a school owned by the Anglican Church, the Diocese of Aba at the time, and it was in a village called Umebulungu in Asa. Today in Okwa West, yes, Okwa West local government area of Abia State. That's where the school was located, and it began with a woman. I came back to school that new academic year, and they introduced a new teacher. Now, it was an all-boys school. It was a junior seminary. It was for boys. And they introduced a new teacher. All our teachers up to that point were men. But this time around, they introduced a lady, a young, beautiful young woman. I think she must have been about 21 at that time, fresh out of youth service, and she was posted to teach in our school. You know how boys think. We said, oh, why would anybody bring a woman to teach in our school? You know, stories. And we had male teachers who were not married. We said, oh, that's just like taking a sheep and throwing it into a den of lions, and all those kind of naughty things that boys, do and talk about. We talked about it. But for me, it was a surprise that I think it was the next Sunday in chapel, she read a lesson in the chapel, and then we saw her visiting the male teachers. We saw a fellowship starting there, and we saw a number of other things happening, and it was like, wait a minute, this lady, and I said in my head, I'm not going to wait for this lady to preach to me. Men have been speaking to me about God. Now, I'm sure that soon this lady will start preaching to me too. No, I'm not going to let that happen. Now, on the other side, something else had begun to occur. I had become aware of my sinfulness as a person. How did that happen? I found that I would make rules for myself, and I wasn't able to keep those rules. I would say, okay, I won't do this again. Maybe I would say I won't tell a lie again. And before the end of that day, everything will simply go wrong, and I will find myself doing what I said I would not do. So it was clear to me that I couldn't keep to my own rules. And I realized that this was not just a one-off thing, it was a consistent thing. So I realized I was a sinner, and I realized there wasn't much I could do to take myself out of that pathway of sin. So what did I do? I settled into hypocrisy. Just act like a nice person, do the good you can, and just leave it there and pretend the rest. And that's how I began to live my life. Until one day, a classmate of mine, a friend of mine, Chimezie is his name. Chimezie, if you watch this, I am grateful for your witness for Christ. Chimezie walked up to us and said, I have given my life to Christ. I am born again. And we're like, what's that? What are you talking about? Giving your life to Christ. You are now a child of God. Really? So what are we? Children of the devil? My friend, we talked about that. We tried to shut him down and all that. But that did something to me. I began to watch Chimezie. And when I did, I realized that indeed something was different in his life. A change had really occurred. I realized that he was behaving differently. It wasn't the same person who had been my friend and classmate. Now, we're in class 4 at this time. We started together in class 1. For younger people watching, you do 6 years. That time we did 5 years, not 6. So we did class 1 to 5, and you wrote your West African School Certificate exams, and you left. So we're now in class 4, and I knew that Chimezie, something had changed about him. And I began to I began to say to myself, whatever it is that happened to Chimezie, that's what I want in my life. Whatever it is that happened to Chimezie, that's what I need in my life. So that's what had begun to happen until this Sunday. Now, normally in our school on Sundays after service in the morning, we had Sunday school in the evening, and students taught the Sunday school. It was a student-led thing. I was one of the Sunday school teachers. But this Sunday, these 4 teachers said to us, we're going to reorganize the Sunday school just for today. And that's what happened. We're going to reorganize Sunday school just for today. And they split the entire school. It wasn't a very large school. They split the entire school into 4, and each of them handled one class. And it was Reverend Ike Oji of blessed memory that handled our class. But the spirit behind this was Miss Chinwe Okoli, who is now Mrs. Ezirim, Chinwe Ezirim. She was the spirit behind all this. It was in that Sunday school class, that Sunday evening of October 6th, that I submitted my life to Christ. They shared God's word. They made an altar call. They asked those who wanted to give their hearts to Jesus to rise up. This was new. I mean, an Anglican boy. I'd lived all my life up to that time in the Anglican church. This wasn't the regular type of preaching we're used to. And being born again was not as popular then as it is now. So, I stood up to give my life to Christ. That's it. That's how it began. That day, I committed my life to Jesus Christ. And my first experience, after that experience, I found such joy, such great joy in my heart. I just could not contain it. In fact, later that evening, I was going to fetch water, or rather, 2 of my classmates were going to fetch water, and I met with them. I was so happy, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I stopped them. One of them is called Angus Onoha. The other one, we used to call him Lapito Baba. And I met the 2 of them and said to them, hey guys, I've given my life to Jesus and I'm so happy. Those were my words. I'm so happy. I know that if you give your life to him, you will be as happy as I am. That was my first attempt at sharing the gospel with anybody. That same day, I had given my life to Christ. So it's been an exciting journey. It's been a really exciting journey. And I'm sure that as we get along, we are going to share some other, sidelights on this journey of 40 years. Thank you. See you in the next episode.